Hi there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate, aka the Woolly Vet. I am a final year vet student from Massachusetts, but I am currently living in Glasgow, Scotland. And today I have a typical podcast, knitting podcast for you guys. So yeah, let's get started. I will start off by saying I am wearing my Monday sweater by Petite knit. This is knit with Isager soft silk mohair as well as Le Petit Lamb's wool by Bichet Bouche yarn as well, which is like their finer wool yarn. Hopefully I pronounced all of that correctly. And yeah, so jumping right in with finished objects over the past 4 weeks. I have, I believe, 2 finished objects to show today. I have lots of whips. Some of them I've shown you guys in a last video, but my main finished object was not a knit, it was actually a quilt. And some of you may have seen my quilt vlog, and if you're on my Instagram, which is at thewoollyvet, you may have seen my very long process of producing a quilt for my cousin. So my cousin, who is about my age, she actually just got diagnosed with cancer in the past few months, and she's been undergoing treatment. And I dedicated my off week between blocks in my final year rotation to make her a quilt. And so I documented the whole process and uploaded it here. So if that's something you might be interested in checking out, you can definitely have a look, and I'll add a little link up above. But yeah, it was super fun to make, and I was really kind of in awe with how it turned out. So I would love for you guys to have a look at that if you're interested, but I will insert some pictures here to show you guys what it looked like. Yeah, so that was my main project that took up almost all my time. I mean, I was essentially doing a 9 to 5 every day, if not longer, just going through and working on that. I'd also, just before we continue, I'd like to address the lighting in here. I am aware that it is very, very gloomy. It's actually a super rainy, very stereotypically Scottish day. I also am aware that I am looking a bit run down. I've been working at the small animal hospital doing surgery and first opinion practice, which has been great. But my body hasn't been loving adjusting to working full-time again. And if you've been following along on my channel, you're aware of my kind of ongoing newer health issues. And for those that are new, the short and sweet is that I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and I had surgery over the summer, and they diagnosed me with another condition called pelvic congestion syndrome, and I'm just waiting on some further results for how best to go about treating that condition. But it's mainly just chronic pelvic pain and chronic inflammation. So I tend to not do so well with consecutive days of being on my feet. And to be honest, the university has been great with working with me, but I digress. Let's get back into the knits. So my other finished object, which I haven't woven in the ends yet, so hopefully we can still consider this a finished object, but this is the blueberry cake mittens that I spun and knitted for my aunt. So I'll show you here, maybe some cat or dog hair on it, so I apologize for that if you can see that. But I spun the purple and kind of the light pink kind of cream colors myself on my spinning wheel. I have an Ashford spinning wheel, and I purchased the fiber from World of Wool, and I'll insert the colors that I used. I think I just created a blend from, now sometimes I do order my own blend, so I either have them blend it for me, or I order individual colors and blend them myself, or I've got a couple times I've got variety packs, so I can't remember which thing I did. I'm pretty sure I ordered them specifically. I ordered these specific colors for this particular project. So I ordered the blueberry cake spin, and if you're on my Instagram, you saw it when I was done with that spin. what the skeins looked like. And I didn't have a ton of yarn, like meterage from that spin, so I was trying to figure out what my aunt would use that also didn't require a ton of meterage, because I had initially kind of thought about some socks or some mittens or a scarf or a hat, and I was just kind of waffling. She lives in Maine, so it does get quite cold in the winter. And so I thought some fingerless gloves would be nice, since she does like to be outside as much as possible. She's definitely an outdoorsy girl. But yeah, so I knitted these up in like record time for me, to be honest. I was sitting having a cozy day. I was watching Pride and Prejudice, and I think also Twilight. I think I finally worked Twilight back into the cozy movies to watch now that the season has started to change. And yeah, I kind of whipped these up in about 3 hours each, so about 6 hours worth of knitting. Sorry about Guinness, he's very interested in all of the bags of yarn. So yeah, so these are the blueberry mittens, and they're very woolly, very soft. The third yarn that I have in here is from, I think I purchased it in Estonia, but I don't have the name of the colorway. They lost their tags quite a long time ago, but they're basically kind of like the in between a DK and Aran weight yarn for this whole thing. And I kind of, I didn't follow a pattern for these, so they are self-drafted. However, I've knit a couple of different mittens and gloves and experimented last year with that, and I loosely followed the penny glove construction. I obviously, oh Guinness, sorry, Guinness just knocked over the tripod. He's playing with my shoes. But yeah, so I didn't follow a pattern. I loosely followed the penny glove construction. It was mainly just the increases for the thumb gusset that I followed from the penny glove pattern, but the rest, like, I just kind of did myself based off of how a sock is made, kind of, where I did some, well, this is 1x1 ribbing. I typically do 3x1 ribbing for socks, but yeah, so I just did that, and then I just increased to the number of stitches I wanted to use, which I did use the penny glove pattern for as well, just to figure out what the circumference should be roughly, just because that's my only fingerless glove pattern or like mitten pattern that has the most measurements to use. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling now. But these are the blueberry cake mittens, because my aunt used to make delicious blueberry cake, and it makes me think of her. And yeah, so this is my first finished object, and my second finished object I'm actually wearing on my feet, so I'll take them off. These are my ocean doodle socks. So I showed them as a whip in my last podcast. They're a project I casted on while I was driving. Well, I wasn't driving, I was passenger princessing. My partner was driving from Massachusetts down to West Virginia. So we had about 9 hours in the car, and I knew I wanted to work on something for the ride. And so I cast on these socks with fiber I purchased from Plymouth Harbor Knitting Shop in Plymouth, Massachusetts, which is where I'm from. And I had never been in there before. I think they opened like maybe a year before I moved to Scotland. And I mean, it's probably lucky that I don't live in my hometown, because I would be buying everything. She had such a huge selection of Noro yarn as well. So if you live in that area, you should definitely check them out, because she has a lot of really cool yarn there. And especially like the Noro collection that she has is really impressive, and I had never seen it in person before, so that was really fun to have a squish of all of those yarns. But yeah, so I also self-drafted these socks. A couple of you had reached out asking for a pattern, and I'm not really sure what that would look like from me. I've never really written a pattern before. Well, I never have. And when it comes to socks, I definitely wouldn't really know where to start, other than just writing up exactly what I did for me. I think I do a 72. I think this one's a 72 stitch circumference, and that way it was divisible by 9. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I did 72 divided by 9, which means I would have 8 pattern repeats for all of these, and then I just kind of pick a pattern. I was on Pinterest and I just was using my own brain, and I just came up with stitch repeats that were divisible some way into 72, and that's what I came up with. And this is the ocean theme. So I've got some stripes. I actually did some pearls for texture here, and I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I think it's fine. It actually doesn't provide any more or less kind of structure to the sock. I think it's just an interesting feature. But I don't hate them, but I don't necessarily love that they kind of stick out. I don't know if you can see, like, I guess it's really hard to show. But yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's just a little bit of a different thing that I tried and I don't necessarily love about them. But then I have some striping and I've got some waves, which I thought was really, really fun. Which I think on one sock it came out better than the other. Like, I think this sock came out better than maybe this sock. Yeah, I definitely held my yarn differently or something for this one. But, and then I have my X's and my fishies and some more stripes, and yeah, it took me a really long time, so it took me longer than the 9 hours to actually finish this sock, but I took breaks for food and for my hands, and I also, once it got dark on the way down, we had left in the afternoon, kind of early evening time, so when we were driving down by like 8:30, 9 o'clock, it was dark and I couldn't see what I was doing anyway, and I didn't want to distract my partner from driving. So yeah, so it was kind of one of these things where I guess I didn't knit for the full 9 hours, but it wasn't done essentially because trying to come up with what to knit took me such a long time. And yeah, I was getting a little frustrated because I really didn't know what to do kind of after my waves, and I was lucky that I found the little fishies, and it wasn't even exact copy of anything. Like, a lot of them I had to kind of adapt, and I was just like in a car just like experimenting on my socks. So that was really fun. And then I cast on the second sock on the way home, but I didn't finish it, and so I ended up bringing it with me back to Scotland, and I put it to the side for a while, to be honest, because once I was back here, I was finishing up some summer knits, and then I was more focused on other things, and yeah, I just got pushed to the wayside. But then I made it a goal to finish these socks just in one night, because I really didn't need a lot of time to finish it. I just needed to do the toe and the heel, which didn't take long at all, and I just need to sit down and just do it. And so I did it, and now they're done, and it kind of is in perfect time for Fish Girl Fall. So they're my contribution to Fish Girl Fall, which, if you hadn't heard, Casey from Young Folk Knits is hosting a knit along or a make along for fishy themed fall knits. Yeah, which is quite cute. So these are my long ramblings of my only 2 finished objects. So now we can move on to works in progress that I know I'm going to finish. So, yeah. Okay, so these are the whips I intend to finish. And intend to finish sooner rather than later. Well, I take it back. This one is going to be a longer term one, but we'll get there. So whips I'm currently working on. Right now, my number 1 priority that needs to take priority is a test knit that I'm doing right now for engineering loops. And she is having, well, she had a test knit call last month, and I thought I would just apply and see what happened because I'd never applied for a test knit before, and I got selected for the diamond pants, which is crazy. When I got the email and I got added to the group chat, I was like, no way, because I really didn't think in a million years I would have been selected, because this is the first time I applied, and I know I've heard from so many YouTubers that they applied to test knits and may not get them because hundreds, or if they host like their own test knits, like hundreds of people can apply, and you have to kind of select from that group, which sounds so overwhelming to me. But I got selected. I had cast it on right away. I ordered Guépard Pinot, and this is in the colorway, I think this was called Wild Rabbit, but the number is color 147, and it's 110 meters per 50 grams, and it's a chunky weight yarn. And I ordered it because I was trying to find a chunky yarn that I liked, and I want to say I've like felt Guépard Pinot before, but the color on the website that I ordered from looked very different from this, and the Wild Rabbit also sold me because of vibes, and I thought this was going to be more of a brown with more like orange hues in it, and it is very much a gray. There are flecks of more like warm toned, like orangey, maybe if you can call it that, moments. So I was a little bit disappointed with that when I received my project quantity, because I just went for it because the test knit for this one hi Wiz, the test knit window to get the project done, we have to do at least one leg by the end of the test knit, and it's only about 3 weeks, I want to say, 3 to 4 weeks for us to have finished that, which isn't, it's not like unrealistic by any means. There's definitely like plenty of time to get that first leg done, but on a chunky weight yarn. But yeah, I was just a little bit disappointed in the color, but the actual knitted object is coming out so well. I'm about 3/4 of the way done with the leg, and then this is the motif here. That's why it's called the diamond pants. But this yarn is incredibly soft. I had read on Ravelry that it could potentially pill quite a lot, which I am a little bit worried about in the kind of crotch area where your thighs might touch. So it might cause some pilling, but I thought the stitch definition looks excellent. The way it feels is excellent. I think they're gonna be such cozy like pants to just throw on, especially even around the house, just to like be really cozy and warm. They do fit me really well. I was a little bit concerned at first with kind of the way that size looks. And it's going to fold over as well. That's how I selected the style that has the folded kind of waistband. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on, and this is what's going to take priority because I do need to finish this leg by the 21st. So I think I've got under a week to finish that. My goal is to finish the whole pair of pants, but I think what I might do is finish the leg, see if I've got the momentum to finish the other leg, because I do want to have a full finished object for the designer. But thinking realistically with my schedule and with my dopamine projects as well, which I'll share in a minute, I think realistically I'll get that first leg done, and then I'm not going to stress about anything from this point on. Not that this is stressful, but I have a deadline, and I've never really, other than like gift knits, I've never really had a deadline, and I never really had people counting on me for knitting. So this has been a really fun experience, a really interesting experience. I love being a part of the group chat and seeing what everybody says and how they're getting on and the pictures, and this community is just so amazing, and it's just really fun to meet new people through this craft. It's amazing. But yeah, on to the next one. Okay, so my next whip is a pair of socks, another pair of socks. I seem to be on a bit of a roll with the sock knitting. But this is sock number 1 of my pair, and this is just a regular sock. I wouldn't say it's self-drafted. It's kind of like a conglomeration of all of the different, I mean, it's not like a draft, it's just a sock. I would say I just did a cuff with 68 stitches, increased to my 72 stitches, and did my afterthought heel and just knit this sock. You might notice that this sock is a bit wider than it is long. That's because I don't really know how to do sock gauge, and yeah, I did try it on before. Well, to be honest, I didn't really try it on. I did my foot length, which I know is correct, and I held it up to my foot and to make sure that the toe would fit, and then I knit my heel and tried it on and just hoped and prayed that everything was fine, which it is, but it is definitely a bit slouchier, and it's definitely a bit wider than, for example, my ocean doodle socks, as you guys just saw. So yeah, it must be because I had used, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not really sure, because this is a fingering weight yarn, which I'll actually tell you about in a second. And I'm knitting it with the same needles I knitted my ocean doodle socks with. And I'm just not really sure why it's bigger, because I'm using the same construction. Obviously I had color work on my other one, which can potentially shrink it down a wee bit, but I also knit my Murmuration socks from a couple of podcasts ago by Summer Lee and followed that same stitch thing, and those also fit me perfectly. So I'm wondering if for some reason I'm just knitting looser, or if the yarn is just ever so slightly thicker than other sock yarns that I've used, but that's neither here nor there. They fit and they're beautiful. And this colorway is called Milk and Cookies by Dystopic Fibres, and I came across Dystopic Fibres at the Scottish Yarn Festival, and they dye yarn out of Glasgow, actually, so they're really local to me, and they're really nice, and they're actually hosting a trunk show this weekend in Ayr if you're in the area, but I'll insert those details in the comment in the description box. But yeah, I am obsessed with this. Like, look at how cozy and fall this colorway is. And it was obviously a little sock set, so I got this is the main color here, all caked up, and this is what's remaining of the 20 gram mini skein. It's giving me the fear, but I think I can do it. I think I can do it. If not, I'll figure it out. But yeah, so I think I can do a heel and a toe with this, hopefully. I'd say it's about, like, yeah, if it was 20 grams, it's got to be about, I don't know, maybe 8. I don't know. We're going to be playing some crazy yarn chicken with this. But yeah, I just kind of cranked out this sock in like 2.5 days, to be honest, 3 days. I brought it with me to university. Well, I guess it's not really uni. I brought it with me to the hospital and was working on it during my lunch break in between like surgeries or patients or what have you. So that went by really fast, and then I cast on the second one, and then I got distracted by my other projects. So it's taken a minute longer than I guess if I just like prioritize the sock, but I love working on socks. It's something really easy I can pick up. So I would expect that this one should be done by the next podcast. It should definitely be done by the next podcast. And I am going to the trunk show this weekend, and I'm hopefully going to pick up, he has this pumpkin spice latte sock sets that I need in my life immediately. So I'm going to buy that, and then I'm going to cast that on probably. So yeah, so that's just I think people say vanilla sock, but I think vanilla sock's a pattern, so I'm hesitant to say that. But this is just like my plain sock that I'm very happy to have for the fall. So yeah, next. So my next work in progress is a bit of a surprise to me and to you, probably. I cast on this project on Saturday afternoon after I had knit on my sock, knit on my test knit, and then I was like, well, this yarn gives me so much dopamine. I need to cast something on today because I need dopamine in my life. And I was like, I'm going to cast on the mixed rib cami. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just add it to the list of things that I'm working on and try not to think about it too hard. But see, the thing that happened was I got addicted to it, and I dedicated probably upwards of 12 hours, maybe even more, between Saturday and Sunday to working on just the mixed rib cami. This is a fingering weight project, okay? Before I show it to you. It's a fingering weight project. And I only worked on this for 2 days. And this is how much I've done. My hands may never recover, but I am obsessed. I am literally obsessed with this pattern, and I don't know why. I think it's a combination of the yarn and how effortlessly elegant this looks. So I've already joined in the round. I've already done my waist shaping, and now it's just smooth sailing until it's the length that I want. So I think I have about let's see. I probably have about 7 centimeters under the arms that I've done. And I'm using, this yarn is incredible. I'm using the Woolly Tangle yarn that I also purchased from the Scottish Yarn Festival. And it's a color toffee, which I think I showed it to you guys. Well, I showed it to you guys in my Scottish Yarn Festival video, which if you haven't seen, it's just a mini vlog. It's about 15 minutes. So if you wanted to have a look, you can definitely check it out. I'll also insert the link up there. But this is 60% merino, 20% yak, and 20% silk. It is stunning. This color is gorgeous. It's perfect for fall. I got 2 skeins, obviously. It is 366 meters per 100 grams. So I have a fair amount. And I knew I wanted to make something that I could wear under a cardigan, that I could just kind of show off and have it be another knit piece with another knit piece, if that makes sense. Just as many handmade things as we can in our wardrobe, right? So I really love, so it'll stretch out a bit, but I really love the ribbing, the mixed rib. And if I didn't say, this is by Florence Miller, the mixed rib cami by Florence Miller. It's so soft, and it's a pleasure. It's just a pleasure to work with. And I mentioned in a previous video, but I just really have a thing for tiny needles. And I think working on a couple of chunkier knits lately, I've just been really appreciating working with small needles just now. So I have this on my 2.75 millimeter needles, just because my 3 millimeter needles are on a different project, which I'll show you as well. So I did that, and I'm actually really glad I went down a needle size, because my project that's on 3 millimeter needles, I'll show you in a minute, is questionable. and you'd think I'd learn my lesson by now, but it is questionable. And I think this isn't a super see-through top. Like it definitely, we'll show one layer, like it definitely is something I'll need to be mindful what type of bra I put under it. Like I definitely wouldn't be able to not wear a bra with this top. But yeah, so I'll just need to be mindful of that. It is quite, the straps are quite thin, so I don't know how bra friendly it will be. I don't tend to wear like bras with underwire anyway. I tend to wear fabric bras, but knitting a bra is also on my list, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, so this is my mixed rib cami. I expect she'll be done by the next time I check in with you guys because I can't put it down. This knit is the one that I took this with me to practice today. And I didn't have the time to knit on it, but I always like to have a knit with me just in case I have time between patients and things. I mean, I also study. I digress. But yeah, so this project will probably be done sooner rather than later because I'm addicted to it. And to be honest, I don't have another reason other than that. There's plenty of things that should be taking priority, but I just love working on this knit. So it'll probably be done by the next time we chat. So yeah, okay. So my next whip is one that I brought out of hibernation in my last podcast, and I've been kind of steadily working on it. I feel like I've made a lot of progress since we've last chatted, but I'll tell you why it's kind of taken a back seat. So this is my Ovis sweater. And as I've previously mentioned, so I'll keep it quite brief, the history of this piece. But as I've mentioned before, this piece is made with yarn that I purchased in Estonia and Finland when I went in my first year to those places. This yarn is wonderful and special, and I've been really excited for the opportunity to use it and a knit that I know will just be the coziest thing in the world. And it's coming out really well. I'm really enjoying working on it, or I was, until I made a decision that I deeply regret. And I will tell you what that is. So I started knitting the body with this beautiful brown. I love it. It's very soft. Well, I love the way that it feels when it's knit. But this is an unspun yarn. This is Manchalopi, which is made with 100% Manchega wool, if I'm saying that correctly. And this is an unspun yarn. When I was reading the specifications of this yarn and some of the reviews on this yarn, it was really overwhelmingly positive. I was reading that, like, yeah, it's delicate and you need to, like, get used to working with it. But once you're used to working with it, like, it's totally fine. And I've worked with, like, Let's-Lopi and, like, other types of, like, borderline unspun yarns, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like, it's a very similar construction to this where it's just a bit thicker. But yeah, so this comes with like 2 strands that you're supposed to hold together. So if you held it one, it would be a DK. Hold it together, it's like an Aran or worsted weight. It holds a lot of air because it's an unspun yarn. So it can constrict or expand. So my issue with this is that even though it's lovely and soft and kind of matches the overall feel of my sweater, this is how delicate it is. This was sitting on my floor, and like, granted, my cat isn't the best yarn cat. Like, he does kind of mess with my yarn. He doesn't eat it, but he does like use it to jump up on the window, or like will bat it around every now and then. This is like gently used yarn, like gently, like it was placed on my floor and he knocked it over and it rolled across the carpet, and this is what we got from that. It wasn't like he attacked it and like bunny kicked the crap out of it. It's kind of like, it's just kind of crazy to me that it's that delicate, and it also picks up like everything on your floor, so don't put it on your floor. It's just so delicate, and when I knit with it, or when I knit, I get on a roll. Like if I'm doing stockinette, I don't even want to look. Like I want to just be doing my stockinette and maybe watch a YouTube video, watch a movie, read a book. That's what I want to do with my time. And when I joined this, I mean, it was always in the round, but when I got to the part where I was no longer doing color work, the last thing I wanted to do was have to spit splice every 5 minutes. And that's what I'm doing. I'm spit splicing the absolute crap out of this top. It's insane. It's insane. It's like any gentle tug of any kind results in needing to splice it back together. It's like as it's unraveling, it's like getting looser and looser, and then it breaks. Or I like am so gentle now when I'm trying to, and it just takes so much extra effort for no reason. I would love to know what your opinions are on this yarn, if you've ever worked with it, or what you use it for, or if I'm just not doing it right, like using it in the way that is optimal. But I'm like, to be fair, I do like the way it knits up, but I am also nervous because this yarn is so fragile. Surely there'll be holes. Like I'm worried about like this area here. I don't know if you can see, but like that is an area where the yarn already looks like it's getting a bit weaker. And I don't know if it's supposed to like felt together because now it's knit and now it like has the other fibers to interact with and like lock in with. But I'm just really nervous because what if I put in all of this effort and knit this whole sweater and then have it just break down? That's my fear. Like, that's my fear. So if you have any insight, please let me know, because I'm so nervous about this, and I've worked so hard to get to this point, and now it's just like kind of a slog because it takes energy to keep an eye on if my yarn's just like breaking randomly. So yeah, so that's my Ovis Sweater update. And as far as whips go, she is going to be my longer term whip. I am not going to prioritize this knit just now because it doesn't make sense to, I don't think, with other things that I have going on my needles. I think I need to prioritize those and pick this up when I feel like it and not stress about it, because I did want this knit done by this winter, and I think it will get done, because realistically, like, I'm just doing stockinette at this point in the round. I believe these are on like 5mm needles. Does it say? 4.5mm needles. So it is it is going to take a wee bit more time than maybe something else. I don't know. It's a 4.5mm needle that I'm knitting like an entire sweater in the round. So it's gonna take a wee bit of time, but it's fine. I'm just not gonna stress about it. And it's going to be my longer term fall and winter knit that I think is gonna kind of take like a secondary seat to whatever like my main priority project is. But yeah, please let me know about this yarn. Yeah. Okay, so moving right along to acquisitions, I of course have my monthly subscription to Skein and the Stitch's Studio Ghibli box, and these are fingering weight sock yarns, which are 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And this one is like a Ponyo themed one, so of course this one's ham, and then this one's Ponyo Loves Sosuke. and it's just like a really beautiful like blue marling with like a splash of the ham color in it, which is so fun. And I'm really happy to have these colors like just in my stash as well, because I've definitely been getting into a lot more sock knitting, and I don't know, I kind of yesterday looked over at my stash and thought of like pink ghost socks with like this color. I also could see myself doing a shawl of some kind with a collection of these colors, because I do have like purpley ones that from like last month or 2 months ago. And yeah, so I missed out on last month due to some like I was using my Amex card, and like my Amex just didn't like that I was doing like a monthly online purchase in the UK for some reason. So that caused some issues with payment. So I didn't get to receive last month's set, which was a real shame. But yeah, so I have these ones, which is great. And then I'm really excited to show you guys my first ever YouTube gift. One of the most amazing things that has come from being on the internet now is that I get a wee bit of financial support from you guys watching ads in my videos, which is insane and amazing, and I'm so grateful. But that kind of goes towards the craft and at the end of the day, so my fund of being able to buy more yarn. So this will be my first month of seeing any kind of financial anything, which is insane. And I'm so incredibly grateful for this opportunity. And then the next is a gift that I received from Babylon Leather, which I know many of you may have come across it on other knitting YouTubers. They have reached out to some crafters to kind of promote and show their product before. They sent this to me, and I agreed to kind of show the project and me working on it and things, but I thought I would open the box with you guys since I haven't got started on it yet. But oh yeah, I'm just beside myself. When they reached out to me, I was like, oh my god, like I was already looking at their products because of the bags that they had sent other YouTubers, and I was like, this is insane that this is where I'm at in my life. So all I did was take the tape off of this box. I hadn't really opened it yet. But inside the box, I received, let's see, so a little Babylon Leather little pamphlet. So it's a little bit about them, their products, and some of their there's a QR code on here to like join their online community on Facebook. This, let's see. Oh, there's a little shipping list here. Oh my god, what is this? It's like a little horse. A little leather horse. What the heck? It's so cute. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I love that. Let's see. Okay, I've got what looks like one of the little silk. Yeah, it's like a little silk tie. That's cute. Okay. Now the piece de resistance is the bag. Now, I'm gonna tell you which one I got, because I got it because of Gilmore Girls.
The Birkin bag, all handmade, and look at those tiny stitches. Oh, does that Logan have taste?
Okay, this is ridiculous. Let's get out of here.
Oh, and that smell.
Let's just...
And I just thought to myself, like, yeah, like I need a Birkin bag in my life. Like, I'm not like that. It's just so cool because it's all like 100% leather. I did ask about the ethics of this leather from the company as well, because that's something that's very important to me. And it is a byproduct of the meat industry. So they have 2 locations, I believe one's in California and one's in China. So they get the byproduct of the meat industry, which I think is important, because if these animals are already going to be used for meat, I think it's important to try to use as much of the animal so that their sacrifice is not just like one piece, like we're actually utilizing the whole animal and like appreciating their life and sacrifice, and by not having any waste or very minimal waste. That's where my moral grounding is. And so yeah, so this is leather. Let's see, sorry about the crinkle. Just off the bat, the smell is insane. It smells so good. I mean, if you like the smell of leather, as soon as you open the bag, it, like, that's leather, baby. Like, that's so good. Okay, so already I can see that this is really beautiful quality. If you want to see, like, and the purpose of these bags are that you get all the pieces, but you assemble it yourself. So the bags will be pre-cut, I'm not sure what the word is, but the holes that you require to actually stitch it together are already added. There are 2 different types of holes as well, which is important to be mindful of. I got the oblique holes, which are said to be a bit more on the more difficult side because they're a bit smaller and harder to see. But then there are the other holes that are listed on the, if you're on the website, you can see that they're beginner friendly and they'll tell you the type of holes that are there. And those ones are a bit easier to identify and stitch through. This looks like a bag of hardware, which look at the gold on that. I'm not going to open this one just because I'm paranoid I'm going to lose an important piece. But yeah, you can kind of see like those are pretty small holes just there. And then this, I believe, is the, yeah, this is the bag. This is all the pieces for the bag. So this is this is insane because it looks just like a Birkin bag. This is the front. And then it looks like there's already like a wee bit of stitching at the top here with some strings there. It looks like it's just to hold, oh wow, okay, hold on. So this is a piece, this is another piece. This looks like maybe the back piece, and this is like so plush. It's like, it's so, this leather is so like soft, it's like almost has a squish to it, and it's soft. It has a bit of a dent in it from, I think, the hardware on the front. So I'll have to watch one of the videos that they provide maybe to like see how to get rid of that. And then if you can maybe appreciate how tiny the holes are at the top here, because you can actually barely see them. Let's see. Oh yes, and then, so we've got those 3, and then I think, oh, there's 3 more pieces. So I think this is the bottom. And then these would be probably the sides of the bag. And like, look at how stunning the gold hardware is. So this is my Birkin bag. So I don't have to spend like 30 grand on a Birkin bag. I can spend a couple $100 and get like the most, like the really beautiful leather, to be honest, and make it myself. So I feel very, very fortunate to have been gifted this kit. I'm really, really excited to piece it together and show you guys the final product. So I just want to give a super big thank you and shout out to Babylon Leather. If you are thinking of starting to do some gift shopping, this would be a really amazing gift for somebody that is crafty and also maybe wants like a design, like you would want to gift them a designer bag, but like designer bags are ridiculously expensive, but they could make their own designer bag. Like that's crazy and so fun. And such a creative gift as well, because like, everything's here. Like you don't need to purchase anything. You just buy the kit and everything's included. So, right, that was amazing. And yeah, I'm really happy that you made it this far, if you did, and that you hung out with me this afternoon on this very gloomy, poor lighting, rainy Scottish day. If you would like to tell me in the comments what you've been working on, that would be amazing. So I think I'll just leave it there. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you would like to see more of my content. I would love for you to join our little community. I also have an Instagram and you can check me out on there at thewoollyvet. I like to give you guys updates every day on my stories, so I'm definitely very active on there. And feel free to message me anytime on there. I am really appreciative for all of you tuning in, and I feel very grateful to be a part of this community. So thank you for always checking in and for being who you are. And yeah, happy knitting, and I hope you guys have a great start to your fall, and I will see you next week with another video. I'll see you next time. Bye.